Hi there. Welcome. So, today I thought we would talk about what dissociative identity disorder is, as this is an area of specialty that I focus heavily on, and I feel it very important to normalize the experience and help it become more relatable. So, I wanted to start with understanding DID through the lens of human adaptation and the normalcy of fragmentation. So DID is really one of the most misunderstood mental health conditions, and media portrayals often focus on sensationalism rather than science. And today I'd like to look at DID from a different perspective. Rather than asking what is wrong with people who have DID, maybe we ask, how does the human mind survive overwhelming experiences? And that shift really can change everything. First of all, we all have different parts of ourselves. DID is not completely separate from normal human functioning. Every person, pardon me, has different aspects or versions of themselves. We have a professional self, we have a parenting self, we have a friend self, a student self, a partner self, and we experience different emotional states within those roles. We have different motivations within those states. And also, internal conflict is normal. We know this as, we reference this as dissonance. So we might have a part of us that needs some rest, but also has things that need to get done. We have parts that feel confident, and we have other parts that might feel uncertain. We can all relate to that experience of having this internal conflict. Now, when we have greater degrees of division internally, it does create more distress, but that kind of internal conflict is by definition also distressing. This is not pathology. Human minds naturally organize into different states depending upon contexts and the demands of those contexts. So, dissociation is a normal human capacity. Thank goodness. It's very protective. Everyone can dissociate, and we do it on a day-to-day basis because it's a normal way for us to receive breaks. Such examples are daydreaming or becoming absorbed in a movie, highway hypnosis, of course, um, or turning out background noise so that we can focus. It allows our attention to narrow and helps us function more efficiently day to day. It's not in and of itself a disorder or a condition or something to concern ourselves with. Rather, the important questions might be how much and under what circumstances and why. What is the function of dissociation as it is being experienced? So, also, an important thing to consider is that trauma changes everything. It changes organization. So, it changes how our experience are organized. And when trauma occurs repeatedly, early in development, and within attachment contexts or relationships, then children face this impossible dilemma of survival and maintaining relationship with those for whom they are dependent upon for survival. So then the mind is sort of forced into coming up with creative solutions to address this impossible problem. And different self states then began to carry different kinds of experiences and roles. Some parts might be responsible for managing daily life, protection. Others might hold traumatic memories away from or outside of awareness in order to allow life to continue on in the context of traumatizing and overwhelming experiences at home. Um, and Other examples, parts might contain emotions or manage relationships. This is an adaptation and most certainly not a failure. So, defining DID is one of the most complex forms of a trauma adaptation. It's a disorder of integration, not a disorder of identity. It develops almost exclusively after chronic, overwhelming childhood trauma that begins very early. And different self states can become organized with different memories, emotions, roles, and perspectives, as mentioned earlier. And these parts are all a part of one person that may be experienced as separate from or other than. Adaptive, they are understandable and meaningful, and also purposeful. what DID is not. It's not multiple people living inside of one body. It's not schizophrenia. It is not a psychotic disorder or psychosis. It's not attention seeking. It's not a choice. It's not being lazy. And it's not pretend. Instead, it is an adaptation, a survival strategy, a creative solution developed by a child's mind. And why does this matter? Because understanding and relatability influences the way in which we can support our clients. And it's important to really be able to connect to their experience and understand where it's rooted. And when we see DID through a lens of adaptation, fear decreases, stigma decreases, compassion and connection increases. And the goal is not to ask what's wrong with this person. Maybe a better question is, what happened? How did this person and this adaptation support their survival? So again, DID isn't something that exists outside of humanity. It's part of the human experience. It exists on the far end of capacities of every human being and its experience. And, human, I would say, the capacity for humans all have this ability. We all can dissociate, and it does exist on the far end of the spectrum, and it only demonstrates the extent to which our bodies and minds will go to ensure that we survive. The same brain that allows us to compartmentalize, adapt, and survive exists in each and every one of us. Again, thank goodness. And DID represents one of the most remarkable examples of the human mind's capacity to protect itself. Healing begins when we replace judgment with understanding. And that's really one of the largest aims that I have in doing this work. I hope you find this helpful, and stay tuned for the next video. Take good care.